huge news just dropped yesterday about Trump, and it plays in his favor, and it also shows exactly what he and a lot of other people have been talking about for the last few years. Let's jump into today what we heard about what the past administration before Trump was doing on election year. Let's jump into it. Today's video starts right now. Before we get started on the video, I want to show you this. Look at this. One of our sheep had her lambs. This is Daisy. She had 2 little ewes. Look how pretty those are. Let's see, we have another mama that's fixing to deliver too, but beautiful. Love life. New life on a farm. Wanted to show you that. Welcome to the Max. Thank you so very much for being here today. If you're new to the channel, go down here, press subscribe, ring the bell, give us a thumbs up or a thumbs down, that's okay, but let us know what you think about this content. Our goal is always to give good videos to help you think, to also build wisdom, and have a common sense approach to the world we live in. Now let's jump into the content of the day. I know those sheep were pretty, but we have to talk about some serious stuff. So today we read, and it was in yesterday's report, breaking, and it's something that, again, we all assumed, but it literally was brought out yesterday. Now, a lot of times, that's what happens. The conspiracy things end up being true, and then they don't want to talk about it for months or years later, so then it becomes a non-event anymore. And I think that's what we're missing, and I think that's what's wrong with news media like it is now. I think that's what's so great about having podcasters, YouTubers, and Twitter, to be able to give the stuff that we want to hear and the truth behind what's really going on. CIA had foreign allies spy on the Trump team, triggering the collusion hoax that we had for 2016 throughout his presidency. Now, the truth is, Obama and his people were trying to get their connectors, all their fillers out in the world, the CIA, to literally get dirt up on Trump. Now, this is another thing I always say. You know, when people say, well, Trump's probably evil, I think he's just a rich billionaire that pretty much did what he wanted all his life. That's why I think he says what he wants. He's bombastic. But to be honest with you, he's been looked over by just about every 3-letter organization because of the deep ties and the uniparty. But the truth is, they still can't find anything. They had to make up something on this hoax. Do you know the court that he just got, held accountable for $86 million, which is all going to go away. It just is. That same lady has accused 8 other men of doing the same thing. I'm telling you, if you look into some of these stories, you hear it on the face, but then when the truth comes out months and years later, we forget about it. But the truth is, the guy's not as bad as most people make him out to be. The whole hoax for 2016, we knew about the dossier, we knew about Clinton, but now it's showing that the past administration were doing treasonous things and actually trying to keep pushing the narrative as this man got elected. A duly elected president, and an opposition party was utilizing the uniparty behind his back. That's treason. And it's amazing. It's treason and nobody brings it up. Michelle is still one of the biggest talked about people of replacing Biden. However, her husband actually committed treason by going after Trump. Do you remember Trump got in trouble for trying to look into Ukraine and see what the situation was with Biden, which came out to be absolutely true and the ties to financial laundering with Ukraine. It became true. It was absolutely true. But the hoax that was coming up was actually just a quid pro quo, and it was actually one of those situations where Obama was saying, look, you find this stuff because this guy cannot be elected. Because no one wanted him to be elected, especially the uniparty and the big globalists behind it. This last year, John Durham, a special prosecutor for the DOJ, concluded that the Federal Bureau of Investigation, FBI, should never have opened the investigation of the alleged collusion of the presidential candidate Donald J. Trump and Russia. Now, multiple credible sources has said the CIA illegally mobilized foreign intelligence against Trump and his advisors. So all that stuff about getting Page and Flynn and all that mess was all collusion by the previous administration and the CIA. Until now, the official story has been that the FBI investigation began after Australian intelligence and the U.S. officials went after Trump because of the situation with Russia. However, the truth is the USIC asked the Five Eyes, the intelligence services that is tied to all these, the West and the intelligence agencies that tie into CIA, to look for information on Trump. So the Five Eyes, of course, is Australia, New Zealand, Canada, America, and UK. Now remember, the biggest players in that is US, UK, but the other three are part of it as well. After public and racket has been told that President Obama's CIA Director John Brennan had identified 26 Trump associates that the Five Eyes should target. A source confirmed that they identified as people to bump or make contact with or try to manipulate. So they were trying to send out fake people to manipulate. Doesn't that sound like some other FBI agents that kind of infiltrated a certain group to try to make it worse than what it was? Isn't that amazing how our people that we pay with our tax dollars are actually working against the American people? Isn't that amazing? Their plan was to make contacts and bump Trump associates and Trump people to manipulate them. A source close to the investigation said. They are sending people around UK, Australia, Italy, the Mossad in Italy they had set up. The source said it considered bumping 26 of the members of the Trump campaign. Doing so was illegal, both because US law prohibits it. Such intelligence gathering is wrong unless you get a Foreign Intelligence Surveillance Act warrant, which is the FISA warrant. And because the weaponization of this organization, it was illegal. So we have breaking news that shouldn't be breaking because we've been talking about it for years, that the collusion, all the stuff behind the scene was actually them colluding with their own leadership to go against an adversary, an opposition party. That is third world stuff right there. We're doing what third worlds do. And it's amazing that no one's talking about this. This story came out yesterday. This should be over the moon everywhere. But again, it's one of those things, it's like, oh yeah, a few people talk about it. People like me that doesn't have a huge platform, so we'll talk about it, and they're like, oh, I'm mad about it. And they'll go about their day. Same way with all these political people in Washington. They should be up in arms. These Senate Republicans and these congressmen who have authority, they should be bringing this up. But no, they'll talk about, you know, how expensive your popcorn was at Super Bowl time. It's absolutely stupid. Like, for instance, this week, we impeach Mayorkas from the Congress side. Now, he will not be impeached because guess what? They're not going to impeach him on the Senate side. All right? So then the Senate passes a bill that shows how much sellouts we have in the Senate. However, it's not going to pass in the House. So how much tax dollars did we waste doing this House and Senate bills? How much time did they waste, money we waste, to then get nowhere? That's what your American officials are doing for you. Either selling you out or actually just wasting your money. Instead of looking at really what happened was you had an ex-president literally colluding with its own three-letter agencies to then get dirt and information on Trump. That is a bombshell that someone should be bringing up and making it just spread like wildfire. This is why when Vivek says these three-letter agencies should be shut down and dismantled, I believe that. Not that we don't need them. We need something like it, but we need to build it from the ground up again because there's too much bureaucracy, too much regulation, too much deep state in all these things, to where they're always going to work against the conservative that's going in leadership. And it will never change unless this happens. This is my honest opinion. Trump is old. He's a billionaire. He's already went for one term, so he can't do anything else. If he wins this, there is no higher echelon that he can go. I think that he would have proved a point if he would have been elected again, but he wasn't. Here's the thing. He has nothing to lose if he wins back. I hope he wins back because I think the only way that you could see change is if you see a full dismantlement of a lot of our uniparty and a lot of our bureaucracy. And it's going to take someone who does not want re-election. It's going to take someone who is willing to make the hard decisions. You remember when Volcker raised the rates at the Fed to like 17, 18%. He was trying to save what was going on. I don't believe in the Fed. I believe it's a joke. However, because of the issues getting off the gold standard and of course with inflation, Volcker made the hard decisions that most people thought he was crazy. However, when you look back, you're like, wow, he actually kind of saved us. Just like, honestly, the interest rate being high right now sucks for people borrowing money, but to be honest with you, we need it to balance out the inflation. But what I'm saying is, you have to make the hard decisions even when most people don't see it. The reason people are in leadership is because they have to make the hard decisions when people don't believe in what they're doing. However, they're leading it. They have to go against the flow. So I pray that if Trump wins, he gets in there and dismantles this kind of stuff. That will hurt him probably politically. That will hurt him and his chances to get a lot of things passed. But if he can start saying, you know what, I'm going to actually close the border, I'm going to dismantle this regulation, and I'm going to show that we don't need to be in wars all across the world, and we're going to build our economy up. I think if he does those things by dismantling and showing that he's not going to look at the opposition, he's not going to be illegal in some of the things like the other party did, I think it's going to prove a point that even though he may look terrible right now, he will look as one of the best presidents in history because he did something. 20 or 30 years from now, we'll say, you know what? This guy actually didn't care about getting reelected. He didn't care about anything but trying to save the country and putting America first. I think that's what's huge, because when you look at Obama and Biden and what they did against Trump, Clinton, they're actually being very treasonous when it comes to what they did in colluding with the CIA against Trump. It's in the news. Multiple sources show that they were doing something illegal. And that's not how our country should be ran. We're not third world, we're America. We need to start acting like it. So give me your thoughts, guys. I know some of y'all may not like Trump, you may not like Vivek. Understand, there's things that sometimes they say that's bombastic that I don't know if I agree with either. However, I do believe that someone like that will be the only leader that can actually change things for the good in America, because we need a revival back in America. And of course, we need Christ. But we need leaders who are willing to go against the fray and is not part of the uniparty, for sure. Guys, thank you for watching. God bless. And hey, you can't ask for a prettier morning than to see those little lambs. White, gorgeous. There's the pops right there, the big ram. It's a beautiful day on the farm. There's nothing more special than waking up and seeing God's beauty. Guys, thank you so much for watching. God bless. Happy homesteading, y'all.